Medieval slave farmer wishes to better his social position and attain glory after his master dies. So he has a false identity, and he successfully participates in jousts, shocking many knights. But what happened next changed everything. Let's start our story. In 14th century Europe, jousting is now the most popular sport, cheered by nobles and peasants alike. However, only knights can join the fight. One day, squires William, Roland, and what discovers their boss, Sir Hector, dead after receiving a few blows during a jousting tournament. This becomes clearly bad news since it makes them jobless, and they also haven't seen food in 3 days, so they're anxious for some money. The organizers of the tournament actually don't know anything about Hector's death, which gives William an idea. He will act as Hector and finish the tournament. By wearing the helmet at all times, no one will be able to know the difference. During the tournament, William shocks everyone with an easy victory, earning him an expensive gold feather as a winning prize. Later on, they sell the feather and divides the money equally among them. However, William changes his mind and takes the money back, leaving his friends with only one coin for themselves. He believes they can keep up the farce and become champions, so the money should be invested in equipment to win even more. Roland and what don't conquered with the idea and even fight William to get back their money, yet still, William doesn't give up and eventually manages to convince their tinny brains to help him out. They buy new equipment and spends the time leading to the next tournament training hard until William doesn't miss a single shot. Some few weeks later, while they're on the road traveling to the nearest competition, they meet a naked man. It's our dear famous writer, Geoffrey, who has just been robbed. William introduces himself as Sir Ulrich, but Geoffrey can't see through his lies and offers a deal. If they give him some food and clothes, he will fake a patent of nobility that William can use to enter the next tournament. They are hesitant to trust Geoffrey, however they don't have any choice. When they make it to town, they're relieved to find the fake patent of nobility accepted by the organizers, and William decides to hire Geoffrey to be his herald. While waiting for his turn, William spots Lady Jocelyn in the crowd, and just falls in love with her. Willing to talk to her, he follows her around town, but she refuses to mention to him her name. William is finally kicked out when Jocelyn enters the church. During the tournament, William easily wins his first match, but he's starting to worry about the conditions of his armor. Suddenly, he's cornered by the men in charge of the local gambling circuit, who informed him he needs to pay up for his employee. It is revealed that Geoffrey was never robbed. He actually has a gambling addiction, and he will be killed if his liege doesn't pay. Ignoring what's furious frustration, William tells the men to let Geoffrey go, promising to pay after winning the tournament. Later on, William joins the sword combats, winning there as well and giving Geoffrey the opportunity to hype him up for the public by using his creative way with words. William's skill proves to be true, and he wins the sword competition. So now he can get back to the jousting matches. He's winning there too, but his armor gets destroyed, and none of the blacksmiths will accept the promise of payment to fix it. So even blacksmith Kate will not do it. But William has heard what the others think of a female blacksmith. He eventually convinces her to fix his armor when he implies that the rest of the blacksmiths thought she couldn't, because she's a girl. Among the people enjoying the jousting matches are Jocelyn and her lady-in-waiting, Christiana, and they are met by jousting champion, Count Adhemar, who is also very interested in Jocelyn. After claiming about his army currently fighting in France, and the fact that he's never been defeated, Adhemar explains the rules of jousting to Jocelyn, pointing out that different hits are given different amounts of points. The smooth conversation is suddenly interrupted by William, who comes to talk to Jocelyn to shock her with some poetry vibes Geoffrey just taught him. Unfortunately, Adhemar disgraced him in front of everyone, so William got to leave in shame. So later on, before the next match, Geoffrey announces William with lots of words, making up stories about his great deeds. And also William fights excellently, but Adhemar claims to Jocelyn that he has no style or technique, though he admits not protecting his eyes properly makes him fearless. However, William's opponent is hurt and knows he's already lost, but he's never not finished the match before and would like to finish with his honor intact. Taking pity on him, William accepts this, and their last run is a tie intentionally. The opponent withdraws, and William advances. Adhemar reveals William's not finishing his opponent shows weakness, but Jocelyn sees it as a great demonstration of mercy. Later in the evening, Adhemar sends Jocelyn a message saying he will win this tournament for her. But she doesn't care because she clearly knows he wins things for his own ego, and that he treats women to be silent. She's more impressed by the fact William is the only knight that hasn't promised to win for her, so maybe she might allow him to win her heart. The next day, Jocelyn sends her pashmina to William as a sign of good luck, and even allows Christiana to eventually tell him her name. William's final match happens to be against Adhemar, and while he begins by winning the most points, Adhemar decides to finish him by taking advantage of William's lack of protecting his face and hits him on the head, knocking him out. While being unconscious, William recalls the days when he was a little kid watching knights and wishing to become one. Most people thought it was impossible for a slave farmer, but his father, John, encouraged him to believe in his dreams. When he wakes up, William finds Adhemar picking up Jocelyn's pashmina, and before taking it to her, he challenges William to seek him in the future after he trains well. Yet still William won the sword tournament, meaning he receives a good prize that allows him to pay the gamblers and Kate the blacksmith. Speaking of Kate, she points out that William has been wearing armor that wasn't made purposefully for him and offers to make him a new one in exchange for them taking her to Paris. William turns her down, willing to leave, but Christiana appears to confirm he will attend the banquet because Jocelyn wants to dress matching his colors. This makes him quickly change his mind about leaving. The group gets down to work. Roland prepares William's clothes while Jeffrey teaches him how to dance. Unfortunately, the classes aren't going well, so when Kate finds them arguing, William apologizes to her and convinces her to teach them better. During the banquet, William chats with Jocelyn and recites more poetry to her. Adhemar still tries to humiliate him by saying that he can only dance like a countryside peasant, but William shows his moves and easily fits in the dance party, leaving Adhemar very unstable. Some weeks later, William joins another tournament. People make fun of his small and thin armor, but he immediately proves them wrong when he easily wins his first match. Jocelyn is there watching, and Adhemar has come to participate as well, but he withdraws when he learns that his opponent is Prince Edward in disguise. Jeffrey hears about this and advises William to withdraw also to avoid getting in trouble with the king, but William sees how disappointed Edward has become because nobody will fight him and decides to go against him anyway. In between runs, William tells Edward he knows who he is, and Edward is impressed that he still decided to ride against the prince. It's William who wins the tournament, yet he's in a bad mood because he didn't get the chance to beat Adhemar. This causes him to shout at Jocelyn when she comes by to invite him to the banquet. So Jocelyn leaves angrily, thinking he's a weird. Weeks pass as William continues participating and winning tournaments all over the place, but he still doesn't get to go against Adhemar because he was called away to the Battle of Poitiers. But even in the middle of war, Adhemar asks for news about the tournaments, growing angry when he sees William winning them all. A month passes without seeing Jocelyn, causing William to write a letter to try to win her back. He isn't very good with words, so Jeffrey fills it with his own poetry and the feelings their friends share about their old loves. She finds herself crying in awe at such sweet words. The next day, What returns to the group with a message from Jocelyn for William. She promises to come to Paris to see him joust and sends him a light kiss on the lips for good luck. Later on, Jeffrey decides that since Adhemar won't be participating in this tournament either, they could gamble on William's victory. In the meantime, William meets with Jocelyn at the local church. However, Jocelyn immediately gets disappointed. She'd been expecting more poetry, but instead, William also promises to win the tournament for her like all knights always say. Tired of this promisal, Jocelyn gives him an ultimatum. If he wants to prove his love for her, William must lose in her name. Not happy about such request, William moves out of the church, refusing to be a loser. However, when the tournament begins, William changes his mind and begins losing on purpose. This drives his friends crazy, thinking he's insane for getting hurt over a woman and worrying about their bets. But William ignores them. Fortunately, his stubbornness pays off. Jocelyn finally believes his love is true, and between matches, she sends Christiana to tell William he should win the tournament for her. William does exactly that, earning Jeffrey a bag full of coins for his bets. In the evening, Jocelyn goes to William in his tent after he missed the banquet because he's too wounded. She confesses she's learned his real name after Christiana eavesdropped his friends talking, but Jocelyn also promises she doesn't care where he's from, and the two of them end up spending the night together. Few weeks later, the group goes to London for the World Championship tournament. Most of them have not been there for a few months, perhaps a couple of years, but for William, it's been 12 long years since her left London. During the tournament opening ceremony, William marches with the other knights and enjoys people's admiration of him, even imagining himself and the kids that chant his name. Jocelyn has come to see him joust, and Adhemar has finally joined the tournament again. He promises to defeat William with no mercy, and to win Jocelyn over, revealing to have already started negotiations with her father to marry her. Immediately after winning all his first day matches, William goes to his old neighborhood. He is able to find his father, who has now become blind. Initially, William introduces himself as Ulrich, bringing a message for John from his son, but John quickly realizes that this is his dear William. After sharing a hug and many tears, they share stories over drinks, not knowing that Adamar has been following William and is now watching them from afar. The next morning, while William is getting ready for the tournament, Jocelyn and Jeffrey show up with bad news. Adamar has learned his true identity and is now waiting with a dozen royal guards to catch him in front of everyone. His friends want William to run away, and Jocelyn agrees, saying she wouldn't mind living in poverty as long as they're together. But William refuses to let them take his pride from him, and decides to stay, marching with his head held high, and his friends by his side into the arena. As expected exactly, William immediately gets arrested and thrown into jail. Adamar comes by to take advantage of the situation. Later on, William is placed on the guillotine, and his friends surround him to try and defend him from an angry crowd that keeps throwing vegetables at them. This confrontation is suddenly stopped by Prince Edward, who speaks of William as a true knight due to his mercy and his honor. After ordering the guards to release William, Edward explains his historians have found out the boy does descend from an old noble family and knights him on the spot, officially naming him Sir William. The tournament still continues, now with the prince and princess watching, but there's no Jocelyn. The final match begins with William against Adamar, but it doesn't start well. Adamar is a cheat that uses an illegally sharpened lance to stab William on his shoulder. William becomes seriously injured and can barely hold the lance, allowing Adamar to win many extra points. Adamar also continues to taunt him, but William gains hope when he sees Jocelyn arrive with his blind father, eager to win regardless. Before the final run, Jeffrey comes to the realization that he never did an introduction, so he offers one more speech to hype up the crowd by reminding them that today, a commoner will defeat a noble. But because of the point difference, William can only do one thing to win this match, that's to unhorse Adamar. It's the most difficult jousting move, but William is determined, and he rides screaming his real name as he hits Adamar with his lance, and Adamar falls to the ground woefully, winning William the World Championship. As John cries with tears of joy and Jocelyn meets William in the middle of the arena to celebrate with a warm kiss, Jeffrey decides that he will write about William's adventures to knighthood. That's the end of our movie, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.